Alright guys, welcome back to the Dark Souls 3 walkthrough, Indiana Jones style. Let's go over the ring setup for Midir here. You're going to want to stack fire defense, so the flame stone plate ring, the speckled ring, make sure you have the ring of steel protection plus 3, and the chloranthy ring plus 3. We're also going to use some green blossoms. Now you'll want to get off the elevator right here and go to the left. This boss is actually hidden, so you want to break down this illusionary wall. Now this next item you're definitely not going to need. It's a PvP online covenant, which I don't even think is in existence anymore. Now, Midir isn't that bad of a boss if you know his pattern, but you also have to be aware that his attacks are extremely damaging. So you can't afford many mistakes, but the patterns are easy to memorize. We're going to pop a green blossom here and try to get a hit on his head. The head is the weak spot of Midir. When it wars like that, always at the beginning you can get at least 3 shots in. Bear in mind this will only happen the first time you enter the boss arena. Always try to run, just like Osiris, try to get to the head as fast as possible in melee range. The further away you are from Midir, the more challenging this boss will become. If the boss goes for a bite attack like that, it will always follow up with a flame attack, which will give you a big opportunity to hit the head. When it goes for the one-handed slam like that, it will always follow up with that breath attack, allowing you to get some shots in on the tail. But always get back to the head. The head is where you want to hit. The head will give you the real damage. Everything else, everywhere else you hit Midir will only give you half damage. But the free hits you can get on the tail are numerous, because you can bait out that flame attack a lot. When he turns back around, just keep hitting his head. Now if he does that roar, he's going to try to bite you. Well, he'll actually try to eat you. And that will be a tremendous blow to your health. And it'll probably be a death. But that's what you want right there. That attack will always follow up with this flame attack. And you can always get those headshots in. That's the attack you really want to see. But of course, you have to be able to dodge it. Again, when he goes on his tantrum, just keep running. Good idea to pop some green blossoms if he starts running. Some more shots in on the head. And again, he's just going to do his flame attack, so we're going to run all the way to the back. You'll want to position yourself right here, pretty much where the tail is going up into the air, but always be aware that he's going to do that tail swipe. And then you just want to try to get back to his head, and most of the time he's just going to try to do that one-handed slam, and then he's going to do the flame attack again. So he's going to do it twice consecutively here. It's not the easiest thing to hit the tail, though. He's going to turn his head. Sometimes, if you're not positioned correctly, he's going to do a tail swipe. But you want him to just turn his head like he did there, so you can get a few headshots in. If you try to attack him from underneath, well, now we've triggered phase 2. That AoE attack is not that hard to dodge. You can get pretty close to it, actually, and it still won't hit you. Again, here comes the roar. We're just going to roll underneath. You can actually roll backwards. I didn't know you could do that, and you can get a few shots in on the head, so it might be a better idea to roll backwards, but I just went underneath him all the time. Again, we got the tantrum. We're going to pop another green blossom. But if you try to attack him from below, and not the front where the head is, he'll do a tail swipe, and you probably won't be able to see it because of the way the camera is. So it's very risky to attack him from below. Always come from the front, and hopefully he'll do that one-handed slam, and he'll follow up with the flame attack again. You can see this pattern is very easy to see. And then he'll do his AoE attack. Now you see how close I am to it, and it still didn't hurt me. Of course you don't want to be caught underneath the dragon when he does it, because yes, it will kill you. But it's very generous with its proximity. Here I did not get to the head. This is why we stacked a ton of fire defense. Even with all those rings, we still took a ton of damage there. We really haven't been hit that much by the boss, but you can see how much damage the boss does. This is why the boss is hard for a lot of people. Because it doesn't matter. You could have a perfect run and just a few hits and you're dead. That's why people don't like this boss. He's got some summons, like some pursuers that are very annoying to dodge. But that's why I like to do this pattern. You have to be very specific with your movements. And you'll trigger only certain attacks. Again, the AoE, very easy to dodge. There's a tail swipe. And you want to get... And that's ideal right there because we're real close to the head. Now the swipes that he does side to side like that, the horizontal swipes, those are very hard to dodge in my opinion. I have a hard time dodging them. He almost got us with the tail swipe there. Always be watching the tail. You never know when he's going to do it. Again, we got the easy free hits on the tail here. You have to be far enough back though because that fire reaches quite far. Like I said, if you're where the tail is going up in the air, you should be okay. You'll want him to turn his head just like that. And again, we got the same attack again. You can actually get him locked into this for a while and get a lot of good damage. Of course, it's still not ideal because we're not hitting the head. The head is the only spot on Midir's body that will give you full damage. If you're not positioned correctly when hitting the tail, you'll notice that Midir will not turn his head. He will try to do the tail swipe just like this. You'll want him to do just the turn his head where you can get some good shots in on his head, but if he does that tail swipe, you weren't positioned correctly. But you can still get some hits on the tail, even though you're not positioned just right. But you saw sometimes where I was positioned correctly, and I was able to just get him to turn his head. We're not even going to be able to see some of Midir's attacks because of the way we positioned ourselves in this fight. If you allow Midir to create distance, he can unleash some of his other attacks, which are very hard to dodge, and they're extremely, extremely damaging to your health bar. Such as the charge move that he does. Very hard to dodge. Or his fire breath leading into his laser attack. Those attacks you don't want to see. And he'll summon some pursuers in the second phase, which will go all over the place, and you'll have to try to dodge those. And that's it, we got him. Positioning is the key, and of course learning his pattern. But with Chaos Blade, it's pretty easy. Speaking of Chaos Blade, that was the Chaos Blades' swan song, because now we are going to upgrade to the Frayed Blade, which we're going to get from Midir's soul. So we're going to go ahead and get that now. The reason I like this katana better than Chaos Blade is, well, number one, it doesn't damage you, and number two, the moveset is out of this world. It has a very quick attack, and it has a projectile attack that goes along the ground. So you can cause bleed really quick with it, and it does dark damage. We might still use Chaos Blade if the enemy that we're trying to fight has a resistance to dark, but it'll be few and far between. The Frayed Blade is king now. Now that we've killed Midir, let's go get our prize. We got to go back to that NPC where we talked to before. Although I must tell you guys, I had to replay the game because I lost my footage. I killed Midir and lost my footage, so I had to start over from about 4 videos previously. So it took me a while to get back here. But I followed everything to the T, so the stats should be relatively the same. We're just going to run all the way back. So you'll notice when I talk to the NPC, I'm going to get the chime again, which I should have already had. But that's because I had to play the game again. We're not going to fight these enemies. We're just trying to get to the door, and that's it. And then we're going to go to Firelink and get our prize. Typically, the enemies will not follow you all the way up to this door here. Now we have our slab. Let's go use it. We'll also use the other slab that we got before when we went into the swamp in the first part of the Ring City DLC. And we'll use that on the Demon Fist. It's going to cost you 5,000 souls to get it. Oh, is it worth it? This katana is amazing. You'll need 15 scales to get it, but we have plenty. And we're going to go ahead and take the Demon Fist to +5 as well. Now, as I mentioned before, Strength is going to have to be the stat we invest in now, because Frayed Blade scales with Strength, plus the Demon's Fist scales with Strength too. So we're going to get more benefit by upgrading Strength now. We are going to do Faith and Intelligence later, but right now Strength is where we need to invest all of our stats. Did a little bit in Faith there. There is a soft cap, and we're going to try to hit it. Now, for the remainder of this video, we're going to complete Lap's quest. We're going to collect all the rings in the Ring City DLC that remain, and we're going to kill the remaining bosses, which are the Spear of the Church and Slave Knight Gale. We've already killed half the bosses in this DLC. Now, for this next encounter, we're going to use the Sword Ring because we're going to be taking on an NPC. And with the whip, they won't stand a chance. We're just going to run to the NPC. We're not going to fight any of these enemies anymore. There's no sense in it. We're just going to be slogging through them. And the enemies will not follow you into the invasion area, so that's good. And you'll fight this NPC again when we get to Irithyll Dungeon, but that's not going to be for a while. And for killing this NPC, we'll get the Wolf Ring +3. Although I've heard people say that this ring is pretty useless, but it's still a ring that we have to get. If you want to get all the achievements in the game anyway, you got to get all the rings. Actually, I don't think the rings in the DLC count, actually. But I could be wrong. But you want to come over here, go across this grass bridge here. These enemies will just shoot lightning at you. It's quite annoying. But like I said, they will not follow you. Stick to the left here. You don't want to aggro that ringed knight over there. And you'll come up to these stairs here. And at this point, you're safe. No enemies will follow you here. But get ready for your guy to invade you right here. With the whip, it's a cakewalk. Double hand the whip, R2. He can't do anything. He's got an arbalest like you do. And he's got a Makuro, but with the whip, it's just too easy. He doesn't heal either, so he's not one of those annoying NPCs. Pop us with the Avalon there. The Arbalest. And that's it. We'll get the Wolf Ring +3. Now, he also has a Witch's set back here. I'm not so sure about the lore, but I think he was in love with a witch or something. Now we're just going to go, we don't need to go back, we're just going to go back to the Ring City Streets bonfires where we need to go next. The next ring we're going for is the Havel's Ring +3. Very helpful if you're going for a strength build with heavy weaponry and heavy armor. You'll definitely want to have this ring. We're not going to be using heavy armor or heavy weapons, so we don't really need it. Now, right here, off to the left, you'll find an interesting item here. This is the Preacher's Hood. These locusts that are in this area, in this swamp area, you can make yourself look like them. Now, right here, you got to be careful. There's one of those spinning turtles there. Only spinning turtle I've seen in this entire game. They can actually knock you off the ladder with their spells, so take care when going up the ladder. Try to get to the ladder as fast as possible. You want to go up this first flight and take a right. Make sure you have the sword ring equipped and full health. We didn't have full health on the last guy. It didn't even make a difference. But right here, it will. Silver Knight Leto will appear right here in this area right here, and he has quite the hammer on him, but he will not stand a chance against our whip. Double hand the whip again. Rinse and repeat, just like the last guy. He won't even touch you. I really don't understand. I don't think people understand how good the whip is in this game. The range that the whip has is probably better than any weapon in the entire game. I mean, I was able to hit him through the wall on the other side. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And he's done. He's got no chance. We'll get his hammer, although you'll need a whopping, I think it's 60 strength to one-hand it. Well beyond our stat investment there. Now, after you kill him, get the chunk and come over here and just drop off gingerly. After the third or fourth drop, the fourth drop. After the fourth drop, it's off here to the left. Now, since we're close already, we're just going to go up the ladder again. This is the swamp area again where the turtles are. I'm going to call them turtles anyway. Just make your way to the ladder again quickly. Now we're going for the gold serpent ring plus 3. An incredibly valuable ring if you're farming. Oh my god, yes, you definitely want this ring. And you'll want the symbol of avarice if you're farming as well. But we don't have that yet. We're not going to engage these ring knights. There's no sense. They won't follow you into the area where Lap is. So just run past them and just talk to Lap as fast as you can. And of course get the ring. Exhaust his dialogue. He's saying he can't find the purging monument even though it's right in front of him. Now we want to go back to the bonfire and equip the Demon Fist. The Demon Fist is going to carry us through the swamp. Because there's those turtle enemies and this is their kryptonite. We just keep punching them and it tumps them over. You could alternatively kick them when they turtle up, but I find Demon Fist is just easier. Dark gem right here. Now this is the gem that will give you dark damage with scaling. The deep gem gives you dark damage with no scaling. There's some locusts here. They will crap on you like you see right here, and that will slow you down. I just like using the Demon Fist. Don't let them impale you with the Preacher's Arm. We got that in the last episode when we were running through the swamp. I didn't mention it, but I did pick it up. You want to go up this structure here and take out the other turtle because he will spam his spell from a distance. And there's another one off to the left. Kind of hard to see. We're just going to take out this locust here. If you get impaled by the Preacher's Arm, he'll pick you up and he'll take some chunks out of you. Like eating you, like this. I did that just so you guys could see it. Of course not. Now there's another guy up here. I missed the guy I mentioned. Some of these guys are hidden and they're hard to see. I think I just ignored it. But they'll always find you. This is the white birch bow. I've heard this is a terrible bow, but it's going to be used by the next boss we fight. That's one of the hidden guys right there. Sometimes they'll drop a blessed gem. But yeah, Demon Fist, left bumper for the win. I found this is the easiest way to take these guys out. These aren't aware of your presence, but just knock them out. And you'll see another weapon inside here called the Church Shiv, and you'll learn to hate these things because the painted guardians are going to be part of the next boss fight, and they spam these like there's no tomorrow. They don't do much damage, but they're coming at you all the time. Now next, guys, is an enemy that I really don't have a strategy for because I struggle with this guy. It's a pain in the ass, and we haven't even fought him proper yet. because he's a boss that will fight to get into the archives, but we didn't have the ability to get into the archives because you have to have 3 Lord Souls activated before you can even get in there. So the Grand Archive is not open yet. But this is the Dragon Slayer shield armor. He is a pain in the ass, guys. I don't like this guy. His attacks are very hard to dodge sometimes. His shield always seems to hit me. He loves to use a shield as a weapon, not just a form of defense. Only thing I could say about this is try to time your rolls just right. Don't get greedy. Try to bleed him out. Now, if he double hands it like that, I just roll backwards because I don't want to get hit by it. It's a very damaging horizontal attack. It's going to take some practice to take this guy down. You don't have to fight this guy. He's completely optional in this case. He's not optional in the real boss fight, but here he's just hanging out in the swamp for some reason. But you'll get his armor set if you beat him here, though. That shield. Patience is key, really, with these guys. With these kind of enemies, you just got to be patient. Pick your spots, and don't get greedy. Again, he's going for his. Well, sometimes he'll do that too, where he just slams at you. I don't even know his moveset. He's just so erratic. Of course, that shield. I know that shield very well. Now we're going to unleash the Frayed Blades special attack there. That's the right trigger one. It'll do a quick attack that does bleed pretty fast. Very awesome. Very awesome. We also have a projectile attack with the other button. Don't try to tank this guy. It's not going to work out in your favor. But we got him. Get his full armor set there. We are going to collect scales again because there's yet another boss weapon we want to eventually. We're not probably use it, but it's when we killed Frida. We got her soul. We're going to use it on the flail that the father was using to flail himself. It's called the Rose of Ariandel. It's part of the whip family, but faith is required to even use it properly, so it's going to take a while to get our faith where we need it. Chunk here. Now, while we're here, we missed an item because the dragon was giving us a headache, but there's the shield that the Ring Knights were using, the big shields. I think it's the big ones, the dragon heads. We're going to go ahead and get that shield. So it's right down here. There is a Ring Knight down here, though, but we can ignore him. We don't have to fight him. It's a regular one. They're not hard to take out, especially with Demon Fist using the weapon art, but we're just going to go past him here. And we're out. Now, let's continue Lap's quest. Now, to do this, we're going to take out this Locust first, because he will be disturbing us. When they back up like that, you can just pop them with Arbalist. They're very weak to bolts, especially when you got the shield ring to do even more damage. Now, we have to equip and use a young white branch in the swamp, and you'll turn into this humanity that goes about 1 mile an hour. And you have to walk up to a secret wall area that will transform into a ladder. Who's going to figure this shit out? Like, who in their right mind is going to figure this out? I don't even know how the developers expected you to figure this out. But yeah, you have to have the shortcut open, go through this door, turn right, go to the wall. There is a message that says show your humanity. I guess that was the hint, but come on. That's as cryptic as it gets. Now up here is the Purging Monument. Now, you're not just going to be able to walk up to it. Of course not. There's a Judicator up here that spawns a Silver Knight Lido, and there are multiple Ring Knights up here too. So they don't want to make it easy on you, but I'm going to make it easier on myself anyway, because guess what? You don't have to fight any of them. Just run past them, get to the ladder, and they won't follow you down the ladder. I work smarter, not harder. You could fight them if you want to, and I have killed them, and the best way to kill them is to just not go and trigger the Judicator and kill the Ring Knights before going after the Judicator, but just run past him. Why fight him? I mean, there's no point in it. Come down here, and there's a ladder right here. And that's it, really. All you have to do is walk up to the monument and look at it, and you'll have enough to tell Lap where it is. It's this ugly thing right here. This will actually allow you to respawn the next boss. Kind of like a bonfire aesthetic from the last game. Now we just got to go talk to Lap. So the same way we went to get the gold serpent ring +3, we got to go right back and talk to him, and then we can complete his quest. Once we meet him again, of course. He'll find out who he really is, or what he used to do. But I'm pretty sure you already know who he is. His mannerisms, the way he talked. If you talk to him the second time a little more, when you don't know where the Purging Monument is, you tell him you don't know where it is, he'll say, I'm unbreakable. I'm unbreakable. Now, who else is unbreakable? Now, this Crystal Lizard, you can ambush him from up top, where the Purging Monument is if you want to. You can jump across with the cat ring and get the Crystal Lizard that way. Otherwise, he's quite hard to get. Tell Lap the good news. Now, once you've exhausted his dialogue, we got to go meet him again. Go back to the Ring City bonfire again, or the Ringed City Streets bonfire, and instead of going through the swamp, we're going to go the other way. We got to go back to the catacombs. That confusing maze that I got lost in, which is not confusing, I was just an idiot. Now, he'll drop his gear after you meet him, and you have to come back and get it. So I'm not going to show you guys, again, me running to it. I'm just going to edit it out. We're going to have some fun with the frayed blade here in the meantime. Yeah, that's a lot better than Chaos Blade. Objectively better. And that's just one attack. We have a projectile attack like that too. It builds up bleed pretty quick. Now you just want to turn right and drop down. He's squatting in a very weird manner here. And he tells us there's treasure nearby. Who could it possibly be? Now we're just going to go back to the bonfire, and I'm going to edit it out because we have to get back to that area again to get the gear right here. Now you can summon patches for the next fight if you want to, but it's not necessary. Anytime you have a hefty amount of souls, we're just going to go ahead, level up strength until we hit the soft cap. And occasionally we'll go to faith too. We do want to invest in faith as well as intelligence too. There's a lot of reasons intelligence and faith need to be upgraded. Even though we're not a spellcaster, our most powerful whip that we can get in the Duke's Archives, called the Witch's Locks, and it scales with intelligence. We won't get the benefit unless we level up intelligence. So, before we leave, let's make sure we go ahead and we're going to use some of our souls here. I found that it's much easier to just use all your souls in the vendor instead of popping them. I didn't find that out for a long time. We want to buy some green blossoms, some Carthus Rouge, and most definitely you need some Undead Hunter Charms. Buy as many as you can, really. Buy at least 20 or 10 just in case, because one of the NPCs is going to heal herself not once but 5 times, so we don't want her to heal that many times. We were able to level up again because we used all our souls that we had. And now we're going to the next boss. This boss is not hard as long as you're not playing online. If you're playing online, you have to fight a real human. A real human that can be very cancerous. I've watched YouTube videos where the guy was just laughing his ass off because he had a build that was unstoppable. And he had multiple phantoms and he took them all out like it was nothing. So we're going to go ahead and equip the cat ring because we want to make sure we don't lose any health. We're going to go get an item that's going to, take a little bit of our health because of a drop. And we want to make sure we have full health at the beginning of the boss fight. But you want to have some green blossoms, some Carthus Rouge. Well, the Carthus Rouge is more for the next NPC fight that we do, along with the Undead Hunter Charms. Now up here there's a Ring Knight. Now this is not any ordinary Ring Knight. This guy's got 2 great swords, and he is not to be reckoned with. He's an easy pattern though. He's not hard to get around, and we'll fight him later to get a Titanite slab. Not this area, but in another area. There's some twinkling here, and we want twinkling because that's what the Witch's Locks will upgrade with. Now let's get rid of the cat ring. And we'll just go with the silver ring, just for extra souls. Well, actually, yeah. You'll want to have the sword ring for sure. Now, he will follow you all the way to this door and into the threshold of the door. But once you pass that threshold, he will not come through. So, you are invincible while you're opening the door, thank God. You can summon patches right here if you want to. The key to this fight is, well, number 1, don't play it online unless you want a problem. And number 2, try to use the whip to take out the painted guardians as fast as possible. The enemies are very annoying, the ones that he spawns. You have the 2 painted guardians you have to take out along with the boss. The boss's attacks are easy to avoid. The problem with this fight is dealing with the painted guardians, in my opinion. They spam those shivs that I told you about, and they spam them like there's no tomorrow, and they have amazing combos that they never seem to stop. But let's go ahead and just unleash with the one-handed R2s, I mean. You want to take this guy out as fast as possible. You may or may not kill him before Half-Light appears. Half-Light appears, you're going to have to fight them both at the same time. He's already spawned in, or she. So we got one of them down. You'll have to pay close attention to what the enemy is doing here. When they're two-handing the frayed blade, they have the frayed blade just like you do. All you have to do to avoid the attacks that are projectiles is strafe. You don't have to roll, you just have to move side to side. If you're constantly moving, you'll never get hit by any of their attacks that are ranged. Now, if he puts a light on the ground, you have to watch out for those spears. They're very easy to see coming, though. Now we have to deal with another Painted Guardian. Try to have both of them in your sight at the same time. And here are those annoying shivs. God, I hate those things. They're so damn annoying. They don't do much damage, but they just seem to spam them like there's no tomorrow. Got some sticking out of me right now. Once you kill the Painted Guardian, the fight is essentially over. Because the boss is simple. It's just the annoying Painted Guardians. Now that the boss is by themselves, this is going to be easy. They're using the birch bow right here. All you have to do to dodge it is just move side to side. We're going to use the frayed blades projectile attack here. Just keep running to the side and you'll never take a hit. Very simple boss fight. It's just those Painted Guardians. Be wary of those spears, though. We're just going to finish them off with the whip. They're blocking it, of course. And that's it. We'll get a Titanite slab for our troubles. We're about to go get another Titanite slab very shortly. We're going to go kill a Ring Knight that's going to give us another one. And that will be the last slab that we can get in this DLC. But we have loaded up for sure. We don't have to sit at that bonfire because we're about to get another one. Now, before we take on the real boss of this area, Slave Knight Gale, we're going to kill the Ring Knight and an NPC. We'll want Carthus Rouge for the NPC and Undead Hunter Charms. But this is Gwen's youngest daughter, Philionor. Once you touch the egg, she's dead anyway, so. We have a barren wasteland in front of us. Now we definitely want to sit at the bonfire here. Now we're going to go kill the Ring Knight because he killed us. We're unembered at the moment. We'll get our souls back and we'll teach him a lesson. He's wandering off here to the left. We're going to pop some Carthus Rouge and some Green Blossom. Now his weakness is when he puts his blades on fire, you can roll past him. Usually he'll go for a thrust attack. When he goes for the thrust attack, you can get behind him and backstab him. But double hand the whip, R2s. Here, I think this is it right here. Yep. Get behind him and just backstab him. But by doing that, we lost our Carthus Rouge. And just like we did with Frida, you can follow up with the whip attacks. Here comes the thrust again, and he's done. And we got our slab. Now we're going to go take out that NPC that we were talking about. The one that gave us the slab behind that door, we actually have to fight her now. But before we do, go level up again. The chances of dying to this NPC are high, because she has these lightning arrows, And they're very, very hard to dodge because she delays the attack so long that it's very hard to time. So the best strategy is to make sure you spam Undead Hunter Charms at her so she can't heal, and put Carthus Rouge on your whip so you can bleed her out fast. Because our whip doesn't innately do bleed damage. Make sure you have the Undead Hunter Charms. Unfortunately, you only have 5 at a time. Make them count. But instead of going left, you'll go right. And you'll see the area over here. Doesn't look like there's nothing. It doesn't look like there's anything here, but you got to walk all the way to the back of the room. And you'll start hearing a voice. Once you hear the voice, go ahead and start buffing. Make sure you have your Undead Hunter Charms ready to go. We want to throw one at her immediately. We don't even want to inflict any damage on her first. Just throw one and start doing damage. Double hand R2s as fast as you can. Hopefully you will not have her pull out her bow. When she starts pulling her bow out, you're in trouble. They're hard to dodge. Because you see how delayed that attack is? I never know when to roll. And you can't just strafe everywhere. I have noticed that if you're at a lower elevation than she is, you can just avoid it by strafing, but that attack is the bane of my existence. You might need to reactivate the Hunter Charm. Do not let her heal, so we want to make sure that she can't heal. And she's done. She'll heal 5 times if you don't use the Hunter Charms. Now we're on our way to fight the last boss of this DLC, and in my opinion, this is the hardest fight in this DLC, no doubt. This guy has 3 phases, and all of his attacks are extremely damaging. You have to, even if you know his moveset, he'll still hit you sometimes. The hitboxes are very hard and unmanageable sometimes. And in the 3rd phase, you'll have to deal with lightning. But the lightning isn't random, but you have to dodge these orbs, these red... kind of like what those trees were using against us in the swamp, Farron Keep. But wherever those things land, that's where the lightning will hit. So you can actually anticipate it, but it's still... The guy is relentless. He's got multitude of attacks. He's got a crossbow, he's got magic, he's got a giant sword, He's got it all, really. And he's relentless. So, learning his moveset is key. And Frayed Blade is where we're going all the way with this guy. Now, as you make your way through the barren wasteland, you'll notice there's a corpse of some kind that's still alive, that's crawling. This is a pygmy lord. And you can see there's a trail of black blood leading to that archway down there. So this one was able to get away from Slave Gale. Slave Gale is consuming them to eat their dark souls, so he can use it for his lady's painting that we met in the Ashes of Ariandel DLC. Oh boy, this guy, guys. Okay. Dodging backwards to dodge his horizontal attacks is a good idea. Creating distance is also a good idea after you attack, but don't attack more than twice unless you stun him. Now when he jumps up, and he'll do like a charge move like this, you can get behind him and sometimes get 3 hits. But it's up to you, risk and reward. I don't usually go for 3 hits unless I stun him. You have to exercise patience with this boss. When he goes for that attack, it's not too hard to dodge it. And see, I went a 3rd hit there because I stunned him. We're just doing the double-handed R1s for this guy right now, because they're quick. When you see the blade kind of glimmer, that's when you know you can roll. the safest time to attack him is after he does one of those attacks, really, like this. Now, if he growls, get the hell away, because I hope you have a full stamina bar, because he's going to do 5 attacks, closing with that plunge attack there. And they're very, very damaging attacks. But that right there, that move is what you want to bait out. You can hit him multiple times. Now, once you've damaged him enough, he'll go into phase 2. Get your arbalist out. And I like to just pop a few bolts into him as he's coming at me. He's going to do a slow walk for some reason. You want to dodge to his left in the second phase. And if he does that spin attack, you'll need to roll backwards, no doubt. Now this is his little glowing discs. They'll come back and they can still damage you. Now sometimes when he does his slam, sword of slam, it will get stuck in the ground, and he'll do another attack where he pulls it up, and that can hurt you really bad, so be careful. The cape will also hit you in this phase. Here comes the spin again. Now here's his crossbow. We will get that weapon after killing him, although it's widely regarded as the worst crossbow. But we're an Indiana Jones build, what can I say? Again, here comes the Coronas. That's what they're called, if you can believe it. If you want that spell, we passed it up in the Ashes of Ariandel DLC because we were trying to avoid Freddy Krueger, but it's in that building. Here comes phase 3. And not much to say about this phase except stay the hell away from him. Look at the damage he just did to me. Holy crap. And you have to stay away from that lightning too. Pick your spots to heal when he does a charge move or a slam move. He'll still do the same attacks as he did in the first 2 phases, except now he's just on steroids. And he'll follow them up with 1 or 2 more combos. But for the most part, we want to just keep dodging to the left and just wait for our opportunities to attack him. When he does that poke attack, that's a good time to go in for an attack too. The cape is actually very dangerous. Here we're just going to try to... If you get scared, you can use Arbalest to kind of pop him. If you have full health, you'll do at least 300 damage. But wherever those red orbs lie, that's where the lightning is going to strike. Be wary of that. Don't be anywhere near those orbs. Here comes some more. And unfortunately, I was near one. I think I got away. He'll do this charge move. If you get hit by that, my condolences, because you're going to probably die if you get hit by that. But with some practice, you'll definitely get the pattern down. But some of these hitboxes in the 3rd phase are just unfair, in my opinion. You have to be so perfect on your timing. And some of the attacks will just outright kill you. Don't go for 3 hits most of the time. 1 or 2. Because you're going to need stamina to get away from it following your attacks. Stamina management is key in this fight, most definitely. Here comes the spin again, and he'll follow it up with a plunge, and he'll unleash the orbs too. You just have to know when his strings end, where you can get some hits in. I wasn't the best at this fight, but we did get him. Put on your silver serpent ring to reap even more souls. You'll get over 200,000 for putting on the ring. And that's it. We have finished the Ring City DLC. In the next episode, guys, we are going to continue Sigurd's quest, and we're going to go back into Boreal Valley, Ithriel of the Boreal Valley. But let's go ahead and get the crossbow. And while we're here, we might as well get the Rose of Ariandel as well. That's the Rose of Ariandel. We'll get that. And the repeating crossbow. We'll level up one more time. And that will be the episode.
Very well. Then touch the pig nourishment. Farewell, Ashen.
So in the next episode, we're going back to the Irithel Valley. We'll take on Pontiff Sullivan. And we'll finally get to kill the Man-Eater, Aldridge.
Just good, wasn't he?
But we're going to go ahead and prepare ourselves. We want the Fire Bandit knife fully maxed out. We'll eventually going to upgrade it to a Chaos Bandit knife. But we're going to go ahead and get it to max. And that's it. See you guys in the next one.